Hey, what's going on, man? Devo Danger, live with the vibes, man. Today I've been here by myself, man. You know how I'm coming, though. Hey, show gotta go on. I'm just trying out a new format right quick, man. Just, everything, I can't just talk about everything with everybody, you know what I'm saying? That's my boy, though. But, just gonna do a little show by myself, man. Give y'all some information and then, go on about my business. But regardless, though, today we're going to be talking about the angelic order, the angels, man, the demons, man. I got a lot of information I think that y'all, would love to hear on this topic, man. What made me get into this concept and start looking into this information was because I started watching this show called The Good Omen, which I think you should start watching. The Good Omen is about the beginning of time, and it's about two angels that have been a part of human civilization since they've been on Earth since the dawn of creation. And they seen everything. So guess what? They depicted Adam and Eve being black because the first people on Earth were black. So guess what? Hey, that shows you our standpoint and why we so put down. We were the first. Don't try to make it seem like we was last, but we really was the first people. Like I said, Adam and Eve was black. So you got to think all their children were black too. And man, you got to just think the other races came in that. Even though the Bible clearly, explains, where everybody came in, that, you just got to look into that for yourself, though. But regardless, though, that's what the show was about. And, the show was also about the Antichrist. The show was about the Antichrist as well, and how he was basically in his role in society. And so far in the show, the Antichrist, he had a evil breakout, but, at first it was God's divine plan, and then when it deterred from his plan, it turned into the inevitable plan. So God knows when things are not going to go in order, or go in direction or favor of where you think it's going to go. He knows the ultimate plan and the end result. Now he'll never let you know that, or it's always going to be a surprise for you. But he all seeing, omniscient, so he already knows what's going on. But the show was very good, and like I said, and very interesting, and it had me just doing a lot of research because the person who was the snake. This is just a TV show, and it was also a book, and the book is way more descriptive as always. But the person who deceived Eve was not Satan, so that had me, start looking up to see, and there's a lot of different sources saying that Lucifer, Satan are two different people, and the devil as well. And it had me just start looking into the information on these creatures and on these demons and angels, just to try to get a synopsis and a breakdown on who they really are. So and I got the information. It's right here for you. So Lucifer is Latin enlightening. He's the bearer of light. The name given to the morning star Venus when seen at dawn was allotted the sin of pride. So each demon prince. It's 7 demon princes and there's 7 archangels. So each demon has their own sin. They're worth, they basically, represent their own type of sin. And these are all the angels that were cast down from heaven and, cast down to earth. So these people live right on the same atmosphere as us. And their job is to create, a lot of chaos. So you will never know who these people are, but you see them every day. And it's crazy that they have so much influence over the world, and their job is just to cause corruption. Going back to the other show topic, their job is just to cause corruption in the human race, and just basically just cause a lot of chaos. In layman's term, they had one of the 4 deadly horsemen, and the 4 deadly horsemen, they represent war, famine, and it was war, famine, death, and pollution. So each they depicted each one. They depicted the 4 horsemen. They all had regular jobs. So the dude who represent famine, what he did? He owned a lot of restaurants. He said he loved that when rich people eat those such small meals and they pay all their money for a little bit of food. He said that was just crazy to him. He said he loved it. So his job was to, underfeed people and make the meal smaller, or, just starve people in general, famine. And then, Death's job was to, she was selling weapons and whatnot. And, everybody was just, now that was war. But regardless, though, everybody got their own, specific job or whatever. And, it was crazy what Death represented. Death wasn't involved in heaven or hell's battle. Death was just a creation in itself. to balance out, all kinds. Then he, like in Death said, that if you were to kill him or take him out, then all human civilization and the whole world would end, because it can't be a world without death. So that was crazy, in itself too. He said, I don't work for heaven, and I don't work for hell. My existence is, its own separate existence in itself, which is very interesting. But regardless, though, getting back to the other topic at hand, so you got Mammon, and Mammon is portrayed as a beggar. He was allotted the sin of greed. So a lot of people serving Mammon, that's people who go to work too much, people who can't get money off their mind, people who wake up, thinking about money, people who just, always got their mind clouded with trying to gain material goods. And, money takes on the spirit of the person who controlling it. So if you're an evil person and you spending money, then that money that you're handing out is gonna have an evil spirit. And that's why a lot of people don't even understand. Like, you just got to understand that the money takes on the spirit as the person who has it. So if you a good spirit and you got money, then the money that you spend is gonna have a good spirit as well. But you gotta think into that mindset. Everything is really about spirits. That's what we get so caught up in, the physical realm and the regular world. We forget that we are soulful creatures, and we forget that we just in the meat suit basically. But this one is kind of hard to pronounce though, but I'm gonna give it a try. Osmodus, or whatever, but what I'm saying, he was portrayed as a prostitute, a male or female walking with a limp, not having human legs but claws, and he was allotted the sin of lust. So he the one that got y'all out here, touching on each other and doing all this crazy shit without, even knowing who each other are. Then you got Leviathan is portrayed as a sea monster with a huge mouth, known as the hell mouth, the gateway to hell. He was allotted to sin and envy. So he the reason why you motherfuckers getting so jealous of each other, and you worried about what this person doing, you can't focus on yourself. Now Beelzebub, which I was always taught was another name for Satan himself, but that's not true. Beelzebub is portrayed as a fly. In fact, he is the lord of flies. He was allotted the sin of gluttony. So you already know he got you motherfuckers. We ain't got to go into that. We already know the obesity percentages in the country. So he doing his damn job. Trust me. That motherfucker, he getting a raise, he getting a goddamn a promotion, you know what I'm saying? He probably got 4 executive offices and shit, because Beelzebub, man, he going crazy as far as, being the sin of gluttony, like I said, all this obesity in the world. And Satan, interchangeable Lucifer, little is known of Satan, maybe because him and Lucifer are one, the same fallen angel, and he was allotted the sin of wrath. See, nobody knows of sin. If nobody knows of Lucifer and Satan are the same person, from these resources, but from all the resources, like I said, a lot of people were saying that the devil and Satan and Lucifer were 3 different people, because when you go back into the Bible, they mention 3 different creatures' names, but some people say they're the same, and it just depending on the book that what name they were using at the time. But Belgafor is portrayed as either a beautiful woman or a troll who tempts people with laziness, and she's allowed this sin of sloth. So she got you them motherfuckers procrastinating, not getting up, taking care of your shit, man. And God may not have thrown these little devils out of heaven, but he still had his eye on them and wasn't about to have the upper hand. So he ordered his ranks of angels to keep peace on earth by continuing to do in the battle with good and evil. So we see that going on every day. So then what was interesting to me is that it's a hierarchy of angels, So you got the seraphim, that means closest to God. This is the first hierarchy of angels. And you got the cherubim, full of wisdom and understanding. And then you got the thrones, where where God resides. And then the second hierarchy was powers, the power of the devil, the dominions, power over the devil. Power over the devil. Then you got the dominions dominate the rest of the angels. And the third hierarchy was virtues, who works miracles, archangels, which are the bearer of good news, and then angels. These are the lowest ranks of angels, but the closest to man. So the archangels and the angels that's close to us, they're not the ones that's really doing the dirty work. So we familiar with like Michael the archangel, and he's a great warrior, and he's a leader. But man, he a leader in his own ranks. There's people ahead of him, and basically, Michael is the most celebrated of angels, whose names means God-like, and his job is to make sure that to protect the Jews, police officers, militaries, and prisoners, sick people, and stuff like that. He's the chief archangel, commander, and protector of innocence. And he is said to answer more prayers than any other angel. So Gabriel as well. Gabriel is a messenger of God, who guides the souls to heaven, to the gates of heaven, along with having a good life. He is especially known for announcing to the Virgin Mary that she would give birth to Christ. As well, we got Raphael, and the role of Raphael is providing healing for the earth and its people. His job is to protect sick people, travelers, and young people, and blind people as well, and travelers. So, man, you just got to think about all these times when you're going on your path, and you think, and you got to know. And that's another thing too. If you believe in one part of the story, or not the story, but if you believe in God, you got to believe in the whole breakdown. You just can't believe in one aspect and then say you don't believe in the rest, and you're not a true believer. So that's why I'm informing you of these things, so you can get familiar with the people who make every day possible for you. You know what I'm saying? Make every day, everyday things, actually realistic for you, so you can continue to have a normal life. That's their job, to make sure man, can get the needs that they need to, be able to continue to live. And then just to find out that most of these archangels were women. Uriel as well. Uriel is the light of God. He is allotted the heavenly virtue, chastity, to combat lust. So the patron of prayer, Seraphil, if I'm saying that right, the patron of prayer depicted on icons with eyes gazing and hands crossed on his chest with an air of humility and deep inner concentration. He is allotted the heavenly virtue temperance to combat gluttony. Then you got another one which is kind of hard to pronounce. Jeroel is what I would say is a defender of helper of all those who toil. He is allotted the heavenly virtues of kindness to combat envy. So, each of these angels' job is to basically, they have their own job into, combating the seven princes of hell. Barakel is the angel of blessings. And so to the battles between good and evil continues, angels, God messengers between heaven and earth, guarding humans against the corrupt princes of hell. How long will the battle endure, though? Will it prevail? I mean, I guess, that's something we got to see because it's happening. We just, don't see it. But now, man, just to battle with somebody, you don't have to have a sword in a fight. That's not the fighter today. The fighter today is influence and how they influence. Demons are spiritual creatures, so they don't have to do anything physical. You're going to do the physical act once you possess. Angels also possess bodies as well, just to let you know. They possess people all the time, and that's how they stay here on Earth. And so just be aware that they possess people, and they put favor over people as well, and they put their blessing on people and have people carry out their will. That's why sometimes mean people do nice things and stuff. That's why sometimes nice people do mean things, or it's just it depends on what type of energy you got influence you at the time. Those the angels and demons, man, that's real. But basically, to break it down, so the seven archangels basically represent charity, chastity, diligence, humility, kindness, patience, and temperance. So just always think about those things. So those are the kind of morals that you need to be thinking about if you want to be closer to God, because this is what He gave His angels. So to kind of be able to help us in the fields of things that we need to be working on. So everybody needs to be kind of thinking about those things and kind of wondering, are you in the field of mastering those skills, and if you're not, you need to be working on that, because that's what's going to get you into heaven. Man, but that's just crazy to me that people don't. I mean, it's something that, like I said, I didn't even really think about either. And just to think about, you think you're doing everything yourself, and that's not true, man. We all just lucky, and we all just lucky to be here. So we're not doing it all ourselves. It's a divine order going on. It's something divine going on that's keeping us all here. That's keeping everything intact. But another thing that was interesting about the show, The Good Omen, was that basically they were the demons were the ones. Well, it's not all the demons, but some of the demons were trying to keep the earth from being destroyed, because God was trying to destroy Himself, and He was coming up with a lot of plans to keep it destroyed. So, um, the Antichrist, they wanted him to destroy the world. They wanted him to, so they can, continue on with their plan, like they said. And like I said on future podcasts, I said, man, you got people who's just waiting to battle, and they waiting a lot of years. At first, I was talking about, private corporations, just saying that, these private corporations, they all had their own armies, and they training them every day, and they all just waiting for their day to strike. And they're gonna be so ready to do it, because just imagine somebody giving you a goal or a date later down the line, and basically you just been waiting on this one day. You're gonna be like super excited when it comes, like a kid waiting on Christmas. Same thing with the angels. They were all waiting on doomsday, and the demons as well. But you had some demons who've been involved on earth, who've been here for so long, and they didn't want the earth to be destroyed, because they wouldn't have anything to do, and guess what, they'll be destroyed too. So they didn't want earth to be destroyed. They like having fun. They like corrupting people. They like fucking with people. They like making people's lives miserable. That's their purpose, and they got good at it. So at the same time, they didn't want shit to happen. So and then the demon who they call Crowley, he not really, he's a demon. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, he does the right thing a couple of times, because he saves the angels. He saved the angel a few times, and had his back, and stuff demons don't supposed to do. And then both these two parties end up getting kicked out of their own respective parties, and now they kind of damn near work together. So we got an angel and a demon damn near working together, and basically God kind of knew this was happening, so that's why he said this was his inevitable plan. This is what people didn't expect to happen, because there's always going to be a twist and turn, and God knew that. So people thought that the Antichrist was going to come in and be the bearer and be the prince of evil, which he originally was turning out to be. But when they switched him at birth, they switched him with the wrong people. See, he was supposed to be switched with an American family, and he was supposed to he's supposed to be like damn near like in charge of armies and stuff like that. He was supposed to be like deep in military combat already and had access to so many things and stuff. But like I said, they switched him at birth, and it was an unexpected variable that came in the situation, because the lady had her baby a week early. So doing just being humans and miscommunication, they switched out the baby with the wrong people. So the American family, who was the president at the time, who was supposed to get the Antichrist, he didn't get the child. The normal people got the child, and these were the unexpected variable, the people that weren't expected to be there. They ended up getting the son of Satan himself. So they ended up raising him as a normal kid, and he ended up having normal friends, and his friends were able to be his weight down. His weight being as a weight, I mean somebody to pull you back down to reality, to let him know like you still our friend, like, because he basically when he turned 11, that's when he was going to start coming into his power, and he needed his hellhound. Now the hellhound was also going to release his power as well, but he had turned his hellhound from a beast to a normal dog. So the hellhound ended up thinking in the mindset of a normal creature. So he didn't want to be doing all the crazy shit that he was doing. He made the dog soft. The dog was supposed to be a killer, and he made the dog soft by turning him into a regular creature, because the dog overheard him saying, I want a small dog, something nice, not too big. And he wasn't thinking into the mind of Satan yet. But man, once the 4 horsemen came, that unlocked his power. So because death, pollution, and famine and war started taking place. So little did he know, they had people looking for him, but this is how they explained it. Now, it was a lady who could read aura, right? So she can read your energy. And her job was to take the prophecies that her family had been giving her. Her family had invested in Apple in 1980, they said, and she ended up getting $40 million. So the family rich, and it was just to train and keep training and keep training and keep training people until the day came. So she was a pro at reading the prophecies or whatever. So she was reading the prophecies, and she was looking for Adam, which is Satan. She was having a conversation with him, and she was explaining to Adam like how her gifts and how she could do what she do, and she was saying like, I can read people aura and their energy, and I can tell who they are. So Adam told her to read his aura. So interestingly enough, she couldn't read his aura, but not because he didn't have one, because his aura was so damn big that it couldn't be seen. His aura was taking up the whole hemisphere of the goddamn the goddamn country. So I'm telling you, his aura was as wide as the damn state, and beyond that, his aura was so powerful that he was covering the other states as well. So she couldn't see that because that's so big. So she would have to be looking over him, or be damn near above the earth to see what's going on, to see how powerful his strength was. And so she didn't understand. And she just thought, he was a crazy kid. But it took the angels. See, it took divine intervention. See, they ended up running over the lady with the car. She ended up getting into the car. She ended up leaving the book of the prophecies. The angel, who they depicted as having a flaming sword, whose job was to protect Adam and Eve, he ended up basically getting the book and reading prophecies. And he took his prophecy book and he combined them with all the other prophecy books like Nostradamus and basically other books that people leave in read for prophecy's sake and stuff like that. And he ended up finding the cell phone number or the house phone number to where Adam stayed. So guess what? He sent his own private investigator, who was known as the witch hunters, who basically handle things like this as humans, who look into information like this. And the demon said that he would do the same thing. But, interestingly enough, they end up having the same person on the job. They say, I got my own guy. He said, I got my own guy. So he said, I'm going to let my guy know. You let your guy know. That person ended up being the same. But regardless, though, the angel had more information because he was better at his job in connecting the dots. So he gave him the exact address on where the kid stayed and everything. So they were able to figure out that, Adam was, the Antichrist basically at the end. But it just come to show, man, like damn. Like I told you, ain't nothing original. So I know they make this up out of nowhere and stuff. I'm not saying this is exactly how it's going, but it's a lot of truth to the show. And if you watch it, man, you'll realize a lot of truth and a lot of stuff of what they're saying is going on. I know everything is not going to be 100%, correct, and a lot of things are going to be kind of a depicted what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, I know there's a lot of scenarios that they could be putting in. So a depicted scenario that they might be throwing in on their opinion or based on, what they think happened based on all the research that they're doing. See, I can't knock what they're saying on things that I don't understand yet because I know they did more research than I am. So that's why I'm doing mine, to kind of back up what they're saying and trying to see what's going on. But regardless, though, Satan was so mad at the end that he came to the earth and he wanted to destroy Adam himself because he was supposed to be the bringer of the war and he was the one that stopped the war. See, that's the thing. Adam was supposed to be the reason why the war started, but at the same time, he stopped the war and they defeated the Four Horsemen. But I told you they couldn't kill death, and so we'll have to see what happened with that. But Satan himself came back so mad at his son that he wanted to destroy him. But you know what Adam did? Adam told him, you're not my father. You're not my father. You're not my dad. You wasn't there to raise me. You never been there for me. This is my first time meeting you. You talking crazy. And he just disowned him. And Satan had no control over him. He had no leverage because he told him that, you're not my father. I don't have anything to do with you. So he denounced Satan. So that, what that does? That gives you some sort of protection. Once he denounced him, he told him that he wasn't his father, and he was walking his own path. So therefore, he had no control over Adam no more. He couldn't do anything. So Satan disappeared. He couldn't do anything at that point. Satan's only as real as you make him. You know what I'm saying? He only give power that you give him. So the power that you give him, the control, you gave him that power. You got to invite the devil in. He just can't come in. That's not because we were created by God, Yah himself. So, he can't just possess us. But if you're doing things, you open up for possession and you open up for mind control, and if you're being weak in the mind, then hell yeah, he can hop on. He can board you. But in this case, Adam being a strong kid and having his own family, being raised in a nice household, having friends that loved him and stuff like that, he was able to overcome. So nobody knows kind of where the direction is going. But, I mean, it was just crazy, and it was interesting, because they were telling Adam, like, you were going to be the ruler of the new world and everything, and you was going to be the prince, and you don't want that. And he was like, I don't need that. I'm not, I'm happy with, what I'm doing. So we don't know what that's going to carry out in the future because he still has demonic powers and stuff like that because he was going crazy. But the power was overtaking him because he wasn't used to it. So he was definitely, was doing crazy things like removing his friend's mouth. They didn't have mouths. Not taped up, but like literally, removing their mouth. Like his demonic power gave him the ability to control human anatomy. And like I told you, those things like that don't need to make sense. Like he's demonic, so he has special, powers, and people, and they can do shit like that. And he was the Antichrist, so he was doing that shit in the flesh. Man, so yeah, it's a good show. Check it out, The Good Omen, man. It's a lot of deep shit and a lot of connection that you need to be taking and making. And I'm just letting you know that you should watch that show because they're really depicting a lot of stuff that's going on, and they're giving you the breakdown and synopsis of what the end of the world is going to be like. They told you it's going to be famine, pollution, death, and war. Don't y'all see all that taking place? Don't y'all see what they're trying to do with coronavirus? If y'all think I'm making I mean, not even making it up, but y'all think I'm trying to over exaggerate this to make, to push shows out, man, that's not true. They said the coronavirus is damn about to have a worldly outbreak, and y'all still not taking that serious. And like I said, y'all still watching the Kobe Bryant trilogy, and still being distracted about all these things. You still worried about what Dwayne Wade doing with his sons. I keep telling you, that shit is a distraction. That's their job, to distract you so they can do all these things under your nose, so they can unveil their plans secretly. And y'all still worried about what all these celebrities doing. You're not paying attention to the truth, to true knowledge. You worried about the wrong things right now. So when this shit happen, you're not gonna be prepared. Now I know you can't be fully prepared, but damn, something is better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously though, man. Like something crazy about to happen. And it may not be today, and it may not be tomorrow, but the point is, it's in works. And when shit is at work, you need to be in work. You need to be trying to figure out what you can do to protect yourself and your family, man, because it's not a game. It's not a joke. The last thing that you want to be doing, or the last thing you want to be, is unprepared in a situation like that. You at least want to be mentally prepared. Like maybe you can't be physically prepared, but if you were in your right mind, you'll be way better off than a person who don't even have no idea what's going on. Like, don't you think? Like, you got people out here who are just oblivious to where the world is headed. They don't know anything about, they don't have a spiritual bone in their body, and they just lost. Basically, some people you can't save. Don't be one of those people, because, man, you still trying to get into heaven. This is not your final resting place. This is just an experience for you, a test. And man, like I said, it's just interesting to see the opinions that they were basing out, because really the angels were pushing for the end of the world more than anybody, so they can move on with the plan, because they've been waiting to enact God's plan, and that's their job, to make sure that His plan is basically moving forward and going in the direction of where it's supposed to be. And they only get told a little bit at a time. They all knowing creatures too, but they all knowing because God let them know. So they only know a little bit. So when the plan had developed, they were kind of like, damn, this Antichrist is, like I said, supposed to be the destroyer of the world. And like I said, it's too early to see what's going on, because he still might, he still might be into his destiny, but we don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? We still got to see. But like I said, it was an inevitable plan, and they ended up deterring from, what was originally supposed to happen. But at the end of the day, that was still a part of God's plan as well. So, because He knew that was going to happen, and they just had to figure it out. But He already knew what was going on. So. We don't know the future, but we kind of know what's going on right there in that situation. So, just be just be looking into that, man. Just watch the damn show. Look into it. No one tell you to watch it if it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, if it wasn't interesting. Like I said, it's funny that I always read that angels love food, angels love coming to earth, because they love eating earthly foods, because we don't have the same food in heaven, so they like to come down here and just like go to all their favorite restaurants and stuff. Like, hey, before I save the world, I'm gonna go to Giordano's, go get me a slice of pizza, stuff like that. And that's funny though. If you just looking, just go on websites and kind of just look up people saying like they were inhabited by angels, and they always say like the angels, went out to eat in their body when they had them inhabited, or just eating weird food. Like, one guy had a funny story where he was saying that he ate peanut butter, and the angel had inhabited his body, and he said he left him when he left his body, he left him with a mouthful of peanut butter on purpose, knowing that he didn't like peanut butter. And that was funny. I believe that, because shit like that happen. But if you're not thinking deep, or if you're not thinking heavily, you would think, oh, that's impossible. But angels inhabit bodies, spiritual creatures, so they need somebody's body to inhabit. See, just like on the show, the dude had, they call it this, I forget what they were saying, the term that they were using, but it starts with a D. This corruption or something like that. And that's what happened basically when they destroyed a human body that they were given on earth. They given a body too, but they still a spirit, but they have to have a body. When they get sent down. Now the body can be destroyed, but it can't be destroyed by age and stuff like that. So like I said, they look the same and all of that since the beginning of time. But regardless though, his body had got destroyed, and he was trying to, and he had to basically, the angel had to basically inhabit somebody else's bodies. But guess what? Satan, the Antichrist, seeing that the angel was stuck into somebody's body, he said, why are there two of you? See, he able to reorder energy as well. So he said, why are there two of you? And he separated that angel, and he separated and gave him his body back. See, this is how powerful the Antichrist is. He separated the angel from the body that he had inhabited so he can do his job, because he was still trying to stop the end of the world too as well. And so he still needed a body to inhabit. So he inhabited the old lady's body, and he ended up separating her from that body and giving her body back and gave the angel his original form back. So, I mean, not to get an Antichrist, props or anything, but I'm just saying, I'm just telling you the examples, of his power and stuff like that, and what he was capable of doing. So, and like they said, the Antichrist was, they said that you will never be able to figure out the Antichrist because they said he has a demonic protection over him that you will never expect he the Antichrist. They basically said suspicion will roll off him like, water on glass, or like if you pour water on glass, how it's just gonna fall off and stuff like that. That's how they said suspicion just rolls off him. So basically, with that being said, you would never suspect that it was him. You would never even put it in your mindset or even guess that he was the Antichrist. You would never suspect that he was the Antichrist, man. And that was throwing people off. Everybody was looking for him, but like I said, the only way they found him out was because the angel used the information in those books and all those prophecies, and then he put them together. So that's why it just pays to be checking into all type of forms of knowledge that you can, and to be looking up more than one source, because you never know when those two sources are gonna combine. So you got to do multiple research. That angel has been doing research since the beginning of time, and they were going back in time just showing the angels and how they were involved in everything. Like they had the angels meeting Shakespeare. They had the angels being responsible for why Hamlet, the play, was popular. They said Hamlet was never popular, and the William Shakespeare said it'll take a miracle. It would take a miracle for Hamlet to to be worldly recognized as as a great play or whatever, because at first nobody liked Hamlet, but they were saying it was a great play because the angel loved it. He said he seen the potential in it, so they made a deal with the angel and the demon on because what they were doing was negating each other's work. The angel and demon he was trying to fuck everything up and the angel was trying to fix it. So they was basically canceling each other out. So they eventually agreed on, like, you do your work somewhere else, and like we don't work in the same place. So they started making like kind of deals on like if they met at the same place, like, or they just somehow ended up in the same area, and the angel was coming to fix things, and the demon was coming to cause this corruption and destruction. One would just agree to leave and go somewhere else, so that basically they don't negate each other's work. They were basically just doing nothing at the end of the day. And that's what the demon was trying to get the angel to do. He was trying to get him to influence him to, basically not do anything and just tell the other angels, and they call them the higher office. They were trying to get them to tell them that basically that he was handling everything and really he wasn't doing nothing. That's the angel's job. The angel's job is to basically, corrupt you and stuff like that. That's just his human nature and stuff. But the angel, he couldn't be corrupted because of what he made of. He got to listen to. He can't basically go against what God was saying, what his design is. And anytime in the show, no matter what he was doing, he still kind of never went in with what God was saying, because that's just not what an angel did. He always brought up the higher office and how he can't do those things, and how he never would, which is I was waiting for him to be influenced, but he never really got influenced. He always stuck to his original programming, and that's serving God in any way, shape, or form that he can. Now Gabriel and them wasn't really happy with him and with his performance, and they thought that it was something weird about what was going on and why the Antichrist couldn't be found. He knew a lot of information and stuff like that, so they kind of started shunning him out and stuff like that. So that was interesting, and that's how, like I said, him and the demon Crowley, which his name was Crawley, because he was the snake that like I told you, that had Eve eat the apple. Basically they end up at this point they kind of like working together and stuff like that. So I don't know where that's gonna really lead off to, but like I said, man, it's an interesting show. I'm glad they making stuff like that. These TV shows are starting to speak a lot of truth, and when people starting to speak a lot of truth, and the Bible tell you, they're gonna start confessing everything. So that's why you see like Africa finally, you hear Africa, some African countries finally telling black people that we're not African. They finally telling us that they sold us into slavery themselves. But then you got some countries still saying that we could have got ourselves out of slavery, and that Hebrews were the ones helping to sell other Hebrews as well, which was true as well. Then you got Trump basically telling the country, telling everybody that blacks don't get enough credit and that we built the country, which is true as well. So like the Bible said, when the end is near, everybody gonna start speaking truth, and that's basically what's going on. Everybody's kind of telling the truth right now, whether you don't like it or not. Even dude off That's So Raven, he told you the truth about what happened with him and Nick Cannon. Like, people are gonna start saying crazy and crazier things, so don't be surprised. Everybody's truth is gonna come out.